Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got great news from the state of North Carolina. Red Eagle Politics is doing a great job trying to save Donald Trump and get, of course, Donald Trump back in the lead. We also got two more polls from the Emerson College suggesting Donald Trump beats Kamala Harris by like 50 to 49%. There's also another poll, basically 1 point each. And then we're going to look at the SoCall strategies poll because Donald Trump is defeating uh, Kamala Harris by 4 points. And this is the poll that Red Eagle Politics has done, colliding with, I want to believe, On Point Politics on the SoCall strategies poll. And it was pretty good. I know these are conservative networks, but then again, you take a look at liberal networks like New York Times and Siena College. You'll see, look at that. You'll see North Carolina goes blue. Kamala Harris defeats Donald Trump by, I don't know, 3 points. And, in truth, we know that the last time Democrats have won an election in North Carolina was in 2020, their own gubernatorial race. Sure, they got Josh Stein elected reelected to the Attorney General's office, and they also got the Secretary of State. But then again, it does show that Democrats have been struggling. The Democratic Party of North Carolina has been struggling these last 4 years, especially in 2022. You would think a moderate state like North Carolina, would the issue of abortion would really be an issue. And who knows, it might be an issue if Mark Robinson wins the governorship. Well, apparently, the voters in North Carolina, their abortion's not on their minds because the 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 voters went and affirmed every Supreme Court seat in the state to be Republican. If you are concerned about abortion or have sympathy or support abortion in any way, you wouldn't do such a thing. So that does really tell that, you know what, the abortion message is not really strong. And besides, North Carolina is a state of jobs. It is a state of jobs and of economic growth. People go there because it's better to live there when it comes to jobs in general. Kamala Harris wants to destroy jobs with her pathetic communist price gouging. So we've seen the backlash when it comes to the liberal media towards her campaign. So honestly, guys, I can tell you this: the Kamala pulse surge isn't going to stop. We know that the liberal media and these different organizations, they are partisan. They support Kamala Harris. We have like Red Eagle politics that is more to the right. But to be on the same time, I think we're entitled to our own bias networks like the left is. Red Eagle politics and SoCall strategies, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, seeing how North Carolina has kind of voted the last 4 years, I'd expect Donald Trump to pick up and defeat Kamala Harris by four. I mean, let's take a look at Ted Budd. Ted Budd defeated Besley in 2022 by three. Very close election. And you would think that abortion would have stopped that. Well, guess what? Abortion wasn't really an issue. In fact, Ted Budd defeated not a United States senator. I want to believe she was the Chief Justice of North Carolina. Yeah, he destroyed her. And this is, and of course, this is in the said margin of 3.2. So-called strategies realistically is expecting Trump to win a little bit more. And honestly, I'd expect the same because this is Trump country. A state that voted for Donald Trump, even in the midst of his unpopularity of his first term, you'd think it would easily go to Joe Biden, like Georgia did. You put North Carolina before Georgia. Well, honestly, it was the black vote in Atlanta that surged and got out to vote. And because of that, Biden picked up Georgia and he couldn't pick up North Carolina. So, poll wise, it says likely leaning Republican. So polls here were pretty accurate. But I have to say, polls are 50-50 when it comes to, let's just say, in general, polls are pretty 50-50 when it comes to, I would say, just, I'm blanking on it. Just whether it would go for a Republican or for a Democrat. It's 50-50. So today we'll be updating our prediction. Even though Harris is picking up the state of North Carolina by 0.5, we're going to kind of look at that, what that is suggesting the map would look like. So here is our map. And I kind of have it all planned. Nothing's really changing other than Kamala Harris is just gaining a little bit more from maybe the Raleigh area or just 20. Maybe the Raleigh area. Or I just don't know. This part of this is really confusing. Like, how are you gaining, even though you're losing African American voters, according to not polls, registration? Party registration is high in North Carolina, and it's saying you are winning the state. I put Biden down. Shoot, this is ridiculous. But it's the polls. Like out of the blue, Democrats tell us now out of the sudden the polls matter now. These polls are accurate. While beforehand they tell us, oh, the polls, don't believe the polls. The polls, people aren't that stupid. Blah, 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 blah. You know what's stupid? Thinking for yourself. I mean, I'm glad Democrats are thinking for themselves for once. Other than that, they usually to listen to everything. Well, I mean, here's the thing. They don't think, they think for themselves if it's beneficial, like a Republican is saying it. For example, the Trump shooting hoax. The hoax, it's not a hoax, but in their minds it's a hoax. But the assassination of Donald Trump, they think it's a hoax. They think it's staged, even though the news says it was assassination. Okay, they're thinking for themselves. But when it comes to the insurrection, they believe every single thing the media tells them, and they follow in a line. They are playing on a team. These people are playing on a team. So, yes, this is what the map ideally is going to look like according to polls right now. I doubt Kamala Harris is going to hold her 0.5 lead. I really doubt it. Here's the reason. I usually don't say that. Like, oh, she could lead over. Um, I would say over to election day. I doubt, because first off, ideally, she shouldn't be in the lead by average right now. I mean, if let's just say the Hill Silver Bulletin 538 and like and all these networks included these four polls that happened before RFK dropped out of the race, well, Trump would have taken the state. Look at this. The Economist yesterday predicted that Trump would win the state in a leaning margin, meaning he would win over 5%. Thinking right here, North Carolina is kind of Trump country, and Republicans have performed best when it comes to Trump endorsements. I think ideally and realistically that would be the case. But no, Donald Trump, it's never fails. Donald Trump is always been downplayed in polls. And this is what the liberal media is doing the third time. Pollsters are doing it a third time. Everyone needs to know Donald Trump, everyone doesn't really know how big Donald Trump's base is. It's unpredictable. So in polls, you just plus Trump 5. So ideally, Trump is leading in the average by 5 points. 5 points. If you actually do math with all the polls here. But then the liberal goes and says, oh, you don't know how big Kamala's base is either. Well, to be honest, she hasn't even ran in an election. The theory hasn't been tested out yet. Donald Trump's theory, where he has been underestimated in polls, has been proven 2 times. He overperformed in 2016. You don't want to admit it, but he overperformed in 2020. He did. He overperformed. He was supposed to lose. He was supposed to barely win Montana. He was supposed to barely win Texas. He was supposed to lose Florida and North Carolina by a lot. And Wisconsin by 8 points. He was supposed to lose Wisconsin by 8 points. That's ridiculous. Which proves to everyone that the polls in Wisconsin, especially Wisconsin, are skewed. They are skewed. And they just get Democrats excited. Woo! And you know what? If they get them overconfident, that's our win. That's our win. If these polls are, these blasted Kamala polls are going to help get the Democrats overexcited, well, not over-energized, but just overconfident that they're going to win regardless, and they're just going to stay home like we did in 2022, or like what they did in 2016, that's our win. That's our win. And they don't want to see it that way, but you know what? I want everyone that's being doom and gloom. There's nothing we can do to change other than participate in these polls or just conduct a poll yourself, unless if you have enough money. That is, this costs a lot of money. But let's just say if there's nothing we can do other than do that. But what we can do is try to find a positive approach. Stop being negative. Doomsday Republicans, why are you dooming? We were supposed to lose the state twice in 2016 and 2020. And the Trump base was more than excited. And for the very first time, we're dooming, even though we are doing very well in this state. Why are we dooming? It's not over. And guess what? It can't be over. And you guys think, oh, let's just go into 2026 or go into the midterms. Well, go to the midterms or go to 2028. Well, yeah, that's what we did in 2020. We can't just keep going oh, we lost this year, let's jump ahead. And even though we didn't even, it's not even election day yet. Politics is unpredictable. And besides, you're polling a nation, a country. You're not just polling an important race, but the most important race in the country. And only, what percent of people actually take the polls? Oh, yeah. I can tell you around I would say 1% of people take polls. Republicans don't take polls. That's why we see Democrats always during this time search and hold the electoral college, hold the polling lead. This has always been the case since 1980. So for real, we shouldn't be dooming. I think we should trust that we got moderates like RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, that have sworn an oath to get Trump in office. And I think that when we have moderates like them on our side, we're going to appeal to other moderates. Hey, you know what? We got two Democrats, lifelong Democrats, that for the first time they're not voting for the Democrat nominee. What Trump is saying must be true. And honestly, I don't see why you need to look at the moderates and need to have a visual. Because when you see Kamala Harris propose her economic agenda, that should be red flag. If you know if you know economics and the economy and just radical socialism in general, you'd know that's a red flag. But we have to trust Kamala Harris. No, it's not about trusting Kamala Harris. No, it's not about fixing the economy. It's not even about electing the first woman president. That's a key. That's a pond to get feminist voters out and voting, along with the abortion. It's about Democrats winning. It's never ever about making history. No. And honestly, I can care less. Who cares? Who cares? First woman president. Okay. There are so many things that women achieved. Like there's the first, I don't know, like Queen Victoria was the first British monarch. Okay. Okay. I can care less. But our country has been divided in gender. It's been divided in sex. It's identity politics. We need the first person, the first this. We need the first that. No. That's how our country thinks. No. And we're supposed to trust and cross our fingers that Kamala Harris does a good job, because I can't vote against her, because I can't vote against the first woman president. I can't take that away from women. Women rightfully deserve a president after waiting all these years. Well, really, I think women don't really care about other Americans. I'm not saying women in general. I'm saying liberal, feminist, woke, pro abortion woman. To be honest, I don't care if I have a woman president. Who cares? What I care is if that woman president's going to do a good job and if she's going to make America great again. But we know Kamala Harris will not do that. So, what are your thoughts in regards to North Carolina? Kudos to Red Eagle Politics. Actually messed up the map. This is supposed to be red. Like I said, kudos to Red Eagle Politics doing these polls. They're not easy, cost a lot of money, but he really cares about Trump winning this election, and he's going to do whatever he can and getting accurate results. So far, his polls seem to be accurate. I'm saying this because we're not seeing Trump of North Carolina, Trump plus 11 poll. Okay. We obviously have the nerve to say, okay, North Carolina is a Trump state for sure, but I don't see Trump winning by 11 points. That's a little skewed. But right now we're seeing things, Trump winning in expected margins. And she's winning it, overperforming Ted Budd's performance in 22, and expectedly so because he's Donald Trump. And I'd expect him to do a little bit better than the North Carolina establishment. So, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.